Well, let's see if we can make this thing really blow up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set up the replacement object. If we look here at our target balloon, and we'll collapse our collider and our rigid body, so we can just look here at the breakable script. We'll see here that there's a public variable. Well, it looks like a public variable. When we look at the script, you'll see that it's not. Called replacement, but at the moment there's no game object associated with it. And down here, if you look in the console window here, you'll see there's like an unassigned reference exception. There's a variable replacement of the breakable script. It has not been assigned. You probably need to assign the replacement variable. So, well, yeah, we do. So that's what we're going to make now. So to do this, we're going to actually drag our target balloon. We're going to drag another instance of that model, not the prefab, just the model. So I'm taking this out of my models folder, dropping it right here, and I'm going to change its name. And this is going to be this isn't my target balloon now. This is going to be my replacement. So this is my replacement. I might even change the name of that just because version A anymore. Just leave it as my target balloon and my replacement. So now my replacement right now is currently just a model, and I want to turn it into a prefab. So my prefab folder here, I have a lot of prefabs. That's life. And I'm going to drag my replacement down here and drop it in here and make an original prefab. Now it's been turned into a prefab. As I work on this, just like I did with all these other objects, we have to make sure that we keep hitting our overrides, making sure we're applying our overrides. So now on this replacement object, we're actually going to get inside of this object. We're going to select the pieces that make up the body. We don't want to select the parent object. We want to select the pieces that make up the body. And to these, we are going to add a rigid body. And in the case of this rigid body, we want to set its gravity to its mass to about 0.25. We're going to leave gravity turned on. And let's see, do we want to have drag or angular drag? It's kind of up to us. I'll leave it at 0. We'll let gravity take care of it. And we're going to set the interpolation to interpolate. So this is being applied to all of these objects here. If I click through them individually, I'll see now that each of them have had a rigid body with those settings applied to them. All right, so that's great. So now I want to select them all again. I also want to add a component, and this will be a mesh collider. So we're going to add a mesh collider to this. And I'm going to collapse that. This mesh collider is going to be checked as convex. So we're going to make sure we check the mesh collider as convex. And again, this mesh collider was applied to each of the objects. If I look at them now, I'll see that all of the objects have a mesh collider applied to them. Now let me take a look at this thing. This is what I've got. Oops, that's the mesh collider. Let me get the parent object. There we go. The whole balloon, the parent object. You'll see now the whole balloon's got just an array of colliders added to it here. So, one thing I really can do to help myself would be to very quickly move this thing down the runway. That's practically the neighbor. There we go. And there we can see the whole fleet right here. And long as I'm here, take my materials here. I painted this time. I painted that black, and I painted the tail and the nose red. I did this different in every single class. Can I hit that spot? It's just not quite. Did I get it? Yes. All right. And then yellow and green. All right. And then focusing here on the replacement balloon now that I'm setting this thing up. You can see it's like covered with all these colliders here, all these mesh colliders that are on each of these individual parts. So we've got all those mesh colliders attached there. And so now we have an object that's going to get replaced. When we shoot our main balloon, it's going to get replaced with this object. Now, this replacement object, it now has a whole lot of overrides to be applied to them. Each of the objects, we applied a rigid body and a mesh collider to them. So we need to apply all of these. So double check, see, all of the overrides are gone. Our replacement prefab is now, I think, ready to go. I've updated it. It's right down here in my RB replacement, and I'm going to go ahead and delete it from the hierarchy. And on my target balloon, I'm now going to take the replacement and I will drag it and I will drop it. It's getting dropped right here as the replacement object. And then I will apply this override to my target balloon. And then I'm going to, let's see here, frame up select on that. Yeah, there's my plane back here. Okay, let's see what happens here when I shoot it now. Pew! Oh my gosh. That was explosive. Stuff flew everywhere. All right, let's zoom out a little bit here. I might want to adjust a couple of settings here. Let's see. My collision multiplier, let's just make that like 10. Let's just make that 10. Let's take that down a huge notch. Pew! That's a little bit better. Okay. Everything's rolling around. Well, hey, that worked. So that's how you get your explosion to work. So I think that's going to wrap up this video. I do have a couple of other observations I'm going to make, but I'll save that for my next video. Thanks.